Okay, good. Hopefully this afternoon the internet will be a bit better than this morning. So if you remember, guys, last lesson we were using the Pythagoras theorem to go and work out the length of the longest side. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at finding the shorter side as well as the longest side. So just to remind you of the basics, okay, the Pythagoras theorem tells us that the hypotenuse squared is equal to what you get when you square the other two sides and add them together. Okay, so the square of you square both the shorter sides, add them together, and that's the square of the longer side. So if you look at the question that's just about to come up in a second, there we go. The one on the left is exactly what we were doing last lesson. Okay, so you can see that the 3 and the 8 are the shorter sides, and we were working out the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse has to be the longest side. It's always the longest side, so some adding was going to have to be involved in order for us to get a bigger number. Okay, now what we're going to look at today is where we are sometimes working out the shorter side, and that's the one I've modelled on the right. Okay, so can you see with that one, the hypotenuse is 8, one of the shorter sides is 3, and we've got to work out A, which is one of the other shorter sides. You just mute, guys. I think one of you is unmuted by accident. So where you're working out one of the shorter sides, the only difference is you've got to do a takeaway instead of an addition, and obviously just make sure that you put the bigger side at the beginning of the takeaway. You know, it's got to be 8 squared take away 3 squared. It can't be 3 squared take away 8 squared. But other than that, it's exactly the same method. So you just set it out as I've done there. Now, with the questions that I've set you to do on Dr. Frost today, please, they're not all just taking away ones. You're not always working out the shorter side. It's a mixture. So sometimes you're working out the longer side, sometimes you're working out the shorter side. So you're going to have to keep your wits around you and just remember whether it's going to be an addition one or a taking away question. Okay, so what I propose to do, I'm going to stop the recording in a minute, and I think I'm going to keep this slide up on the board for a bit, just so as you're starting off, you can just look up and decide whether it's an adding one because you're working out the hypotenuse like on the left, or a taking away one like on the right. And then I want to leave this here because I want you setting it out like I've done here. So I just wanted you to leave that. Obviously, in a bit, when you all start doing all right, I will go and share my screen with the questions that you're working on so I can specifically help you. But I'd like to start off with leaving this on the board. All right, so can somebody give me a wave if you can see that the Pythagoras mixed sides questions are now available for you to do, that they've actually come through on Dr. Frost. Yes, good. I'm getting quite a few waves. Lovely. So they're obviously there ready for you